These modern miracle drugs are marvelous, you know.
You idiot. You almost scared me to death.
Just wanted to see how you take a real body. You say these murders of yours don't scare you?
Had a heart attack.
Ace American crime journalist June Wiley frightened out of her wits by someone lying on the floor of her office.
I thought you were dead.
You were supposed to. Ugh. Do people really read about this sort of thing for pleasure?
More people buy the magazine to read my murder stories than your adventure stories.
Would you care to bet? Oh, that reminds me, June, there's something I've been wanting to ask you.
Here. Evidence.
What is it?
Well, take it silly. It's a letter.
What kind of letter?
It's a confession. Dear Miss Wiley, that murder you wrote about last month, well, you was wrong. Not that you didn't get it right part, anyway. But it wasn't who you said, 'cause I did it. I used a hacksaw, if you really want to know. Yours very truly.
Good grief. Are you going to tell the police?
Of course not. I get dozens of those letters a month, sometimes even more. People have a fixation about confessing to murders that they didn't commit. Sometimes the more gruesome, the better.
Oh, very nasty. I don't think I want to discuss it.
Oh, well, now, aren't you being a little squeamish? Don't tell me you've never really seriously considered murder.
Only if I could get away with it. Hey, something. You've researched probably more murders for this magazine than anybody. Have you ever come across the perfect murder?
Well, it depends on what you call a perfect murder.
Well, perfect for the murder, of course, so that he got away with it and wasn't even frightened that he might be caught.
Yes, I suppose I have.
For instance?
Well, I don't know. If I knew, it wouldn't be a perfect murder, would it? I mean, the perfect murder is something that doesn't really appear to be a murder at all. And then there are other kinds of perfection.
What other kinds?
Well, the perfectly satisfying murder, for example.
Satisfying? To whom?
Well, certainly not to the victim, although I'm sure there are those, too. It's kind of an adventurer murderer, a man who gets a certain amount of thrill out of exposing himself to danger.
Oh, I'm cleverer than the police, that sort of thing.
It's kind of like your crazy mountain climbing. I mean, you have to be a little mad to do that sort of thing.
Well, yes, but not criminally mad. June, there's something I wanted to ask
if
you.
you're going to stand around taking up my time gossiping, the least you can do is help me sort this out.
Oh, look, female sleuth. I thought you were the only female who was interested in murders.
Oh, I'd say there were as many women as there are men, probably more. Does that bother you?
It just doesn't seem right that women should be interested in this sort of thing. Oh, I remember this one. This was disgusting. A macabre discovery in Stepney East last night. The body of Joel Farrar found in a garden shed. This is the one where they found the girl's left hand in the garage.
No, it's a right hand. And it was in a suitcase in the garage.
Oh, it's a mere detail. You know, you should do an article on this. The Harvest Murders. Good story.
Yes, but if you look a little further, you'll find that they found additional evidence. It was a simple suicide pact.
Another mere detail. And speaking of details, miss, where do you expect to be on the night of the 19th of September?
Tonight, I expect to be having dinner and going to the cinema with my fiancé.
Wrong.
Wrong.
Because I have arranged for you to go to the head of the line and spend 2 whole hours in the research library with all the microfilm you want.
Robert, you haven't. How clever of you. Oh, can we possibly make it tomorrow night, Bill?
I'm sorry, love, it's tonight or never. It wasn't easy to arrange, you know. I had to give myself body and soul to a rather plain lady librarian.
What am I going to say to Ken? I can't stand him up again. Well, I'm going to be meeting him in a few minutes, and he's just going to have to be brave. The most he can do is break our engagement.
Well, that was part of my plan.
And what's the other part?
You'll find that out if I'm not rewarded for services rendered.
2 lumps of sugar in your coffee, too.
Another whiskey, please. And a gin and tonic.
Hello. Sorry I'm late. Been waiting long?
That's all right. Yes, I have.
Really, I'm awfully sorry to be late again, darling. I had a million things to do.
The West Halstead murders?
That's delicious.
Why can't that magazine assign you to anything but crime, eh? Whatever happened to the days when women writers wrote about fashion and baby care?
Times have changed, my dear. We go everywhere now, to the best of murders. Cheers.
Cheers. I think I'll have to sleep in a locked room. After we're married. Hey, that's a harmless-looking chap.
Who was he?
Oh, that's the Balaam murderer. He was a butcher. Did his wife in. Sold her over the counter.
Enough. For the rest of the evening, you're going to engage in some wholesome, healthy activity.
Darling, I'm terribly sorry, but I do have to get back to the library. I have a ton of things to do if I'm going to finish these articles. I won't even have time to eat. Now, they're reserving some back newspaper files for me, and I don't know if I'll ever get them again.
What about the movie? It starts at 9 o'clock.
I can be through by then. Tell you what, I'll meet you there, okay?
Who shall I kill? Is a knife better than a gun? I mean, a knife is quieter. But you have to come closer to your victim.
What are you talking about?
Of course, a gun gives you great power. It isolates the killer from the victim. And it leaves your hands clean afterwards.
Stop it.
Of course, there's no death penalty in England now. Not for murder, anyway. Just prison for life. Which means that you will have to visit me every weekend for 20 years.
You fool. Be serious.
I am serious.
If I were one of your cases, I'd see you far more often than I do.
Now, that's not fair, and you know it. I have 3 more weeks to finish these articles, then I promise you I'll take a long vacation.
I know, darling. I just hope that it will really happen.
See you tonight at the Apollo at 8:45, okay?
And don't be late.
If you're not there, I'll go in without you.
Of this grisly business?
What have you got?
Raw blood and thunder.
Good.
What are you going to call this morbid epic of yours?
I don't know. I was thinking unusual crimes of the past.
Does that ever bother you? All this gore?
Oh, you get case hardened. Did you know there was a young girl murdered right here in this library?
No, when?
Yes, back in the 20s. I was just reading about it. Look, here it is. Andros Matakitas was today remanded in custody for trial at the Central Criminal Court, charged with the murder of 4 women. Among his victims was Sylvia Holland, a young librarian at Bromford Central Library, where Matakitas is employed as a caretaker. Sylvia Holland's body was discovered by a cleaner in the early hours of the morning of September 20th. The savage mutilation of the bodies of all 4 women Matakitas is accused of murdering has created nationwide public outrage.
Ugh, it's enough for me. See you later.
Matakitas to hang. Matakitas was found guilty by the jury on the charge of murdering Sylvia Holland, a 24-year-old librarian. He also stood accused of the murder of 3 other women. Andros Matakitas, convicted murderer of 4 women, was sentenced to death today at the Old Bailey after making a chilling statement which shocked a packed courtroom.
Andros Matakitas, you stand convicted of a series of crimes which must certainly rank among the most horrendous perpetrated within the jurisdiction of the Central Criminal Court. The brutal and senseless murder of 4 women. I sincerely pray that I may never again be required to hear the details of such acts. Have you anything to say before I pass sentence upon you?
These women you speak of, they were the chosen, brides for the Prince of Darkness. Silence! Now you will kill me for this. It is you who commit wrong, not I. I did nothing but obey the commands of my almighty protector.
For the sake of your immortal soul, I beg that you do not compound the evil you have done with this blasphemy.
Blasphemy? You speak of blasphemy. Fool. You do not know what you are saying. My master has spoken to me, and I am his instrument on earth. But take care. What you are about to do to me in this court cannot be undone. For what I have done, there is the devil's dispensation.
The devil's dispensation. Screams defiance, and the devil's revenge to the end. Oh, closing time already. Miss, I didn't realize it was closing time. Would you please ask them not to lock the door until I get my things? Who's there? The library's closing. me out?
Locked in here. Yes. Didn't you tell him I was here?
I couldn't find anybody.
Oh. Well, is there any way out? Or is there a caretaker?
I don't know.
Oh. You look around up there and see if you can find anyone. I'll use the phone. I won't be a minute. Okay.
Newtown, just a minute, please. 9815.
You must have made a mistake. There is no such number.
Well, it's right here in the book.
I'm sorry, but that can't be listed in the directory. There is no exchange Newtown, N for Norman, E for Edward, W for William in this area, and we have no 4-digit numbers.
Well, I don't understand.
I repeat, there are no 4-digit numbers.
All right. I'm trying to get the Apollo Theater.
Apollo Theater, Market Street. Just a moment, please. That number is Bromford 639. I'll connect you. Apollo Theater.
Oh, yes. Hello, I'm sorry to bother you. Is there a very impatient gentleman standing by your box office in a black suit? His name is Ken Talbot.
Just a minute. No, I don't see anyone like that.
Oh. He should be there. What time is the last showing of your Marlon Brando picture?
The what picture, dear? We're showing The Four Horsemen with Valentino and Alice Terry.
Are you sure this is the Apollo Theater?
Yes, it is, and I can't spend all night talking. I've got customers.
Well, I can't see you. Are you there? Hello? Hello?
Emergency. Which service do you require?
Oh, yes, emergency, please. Police.
Hold the line, please.
Police? Sergeant Walker?
Yes, Sergeant, I know this sounds silly, but I'm trapped in the library, and...
Just a minute, ma'am. Now, what's this about a library?
Well, I'm locked in. It's the Central Library on Castle Street, and I inadvertently stayed past closing time, and now I can't get out.
Name?
June Wiley.
And what's the number you're calling from?
Newtown 9896.
What kind of a number is that?
Well, it's a Newtown number. It's right here.
There's no Newtown exchange around here. There never has been.
Oh, yes, well, all right. Look, Sergeant, if you could just send somebody to get me out. Somebody to the library. My car is parked in the parking lot right out in back. It's a green 1968 sports car.
Did you say 1968?
Yes.
I see. Now, look, madam, there's quite a heavy penalty for making false emergency calls. I don't know if you're just trying to be funny or if you've had too much to drink. Huh?
I'm not trying to be funny, and I'm not drunk. I'm just trying to tell you...
Of course. Of course. Now, why don't we just talk this over sensibly and calmly?
Oh, why don't you just talk to yourself? No Newtown numbers. No four-digit numbers. Valentino.
Operator? Operator?
Operator, would you tell me the date, please?
I beg your pardon.
Would you please tell me the date?
This is the 19th.
Of what?
September.
And the year?
Is this a joke?
No, I know it sounds silly. Would you please tell me what year this is?
The last I heard, it was still 27.
1927.
September the 19th, 1927.
Thank you. And the year?
Is this a joke?
No, I know it sounds silly. Would you please tell me what year this is?
The last I heard, it was still 27.
1927.
September the 19th, 1927.
Librarian murdered. Sylvia Holland, 20-year-old librarian, was murdered last night in the Central Public Library, Bromford, where she had remained after hours working overtime. Matakitas remained unrepentant as he recounted his fourth murder, that of Sylvia Holland, the young librarian. I had been watching her a long time, stated Matakitas.
And I knew that she too must die. She is very young and lovely. I was watching her a long time. Then I hear her tell other woman, must work late this night. Other women say, you'll be very lonely here by yourself. Right then I say to myself, she will not be lonely. When library close, people leave. But I stay. I watch them go. see her now. She is alone. It is done. I look at the clock.
10 o'clock. Sylvia was murdered at 10 o'clock. 10 p.m., September 19th, 1927. Somehow, I don't know how, I'm in 1927. September 19th, 1927.
It's a mistake. It's going to be all right. There'll be somebody here to get us out soon. My name's June. What's yours?
Anne.
Have you worked here long?
Only a few days.
Well, you probably don't know the place any better than I do. But I think we better go together this time and see if there are any open doors or windows.
Listen, Anne, I have something to tell you, and I'm not sure I know how. We've been taken back in time. It's now September 19th, 1927. How or why, I don't know. We've both tried to contact the outside, and we can't. So all we can do is just sit here and wait and try not to panic. I can't believe it. Well, you better believe it. That would explain that man.
What man?
I saw a man a little while ago, just before I ran into you.
Go on.
I was trying to telephone, and I looked up, and he was standing quite close to me. He looked at me so strangely. And he moved away. That was why I was so frightened when I ran into you.
Why didn't you tell me this before?
I didn't want to frighten you.
What did he look like? Try to remember exactly what he looked like.
He was dirty and unshaven. He looked a little mad.
Okay. Come on.
Is this the man you saw?
Yes.
Devil's dispensation. I wonder... Come with me, I've got an idea. Almighty absolution and dispensation in favor of the almighty Lucifer. Here, wait. Wherein it shall please the master, the all-powerful Lucifer, to grant dispensation to one of his subjects. The subject must provide a plan which will exhilarate the master and cause him to grant return in such form as he was in life. But all things must be as they were: the time, the place, and the subject. The time. September 19th, 1927. The place. Here. But the subject. Anne, where are you? The subject. Sylvia Ann. You're there, aren't you? Sylvia Ann. Are you trying to help me?
I don't understand. You want me to follow? Is that it? Sylvia? Are you still there? Where now? Show me the way out.
The music. What does it mean? I don't understand, Sylvia. company here to this room where you died. Why?
All things must be as they were before.
The devil's dispensation. All things as they were before. I have to be in the very spot where you were when you were murdered.
And you are.
Then Matakitas was telling the truth at his trial. They were the chosen brides of the Prince of Darkness. It was you who received the devil's dispensation, not he.
Of course. Matakitas is a servant of the Master. I provided the plan, and he was granted the privilege of helping me to attain it, thereby pleasing the Master. But people didn't understand. That judge and the jury, they took him and tried him, and they broke his neck.
But what do you want from me?
You read it out to me, remember? The subject must provide a plan which will exhilarate the Master and cause him to grant return. You are my gift for him. That's the exhilaration. You substitute for me, and that's the pact I made. And now it's time. Time for Matakitas to take you to the Master.
Sylvia Ann, I'm sorry you lost your life. I'm sorry you died. But I want my life too. Please. Please help me to get away. Please. Please.
And they closed the library for a whole week, you know. Policemen and detectives all over the place.
Frank and I were on our holiday when it happened. We came back just the day after.
My husband's friendly with one of the men on the force. He told Jack that when they found her, she was a horrible sight.
I read about it in the papers. Must have been some kind of maniac, the man who did it. Haven't found him either, have they?
No. If you ask me, I don't believe they ever will.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You'll soon pick out the system, but those books need to be filed by the department number.
Yes, I know. I've worked here before.